So today I'm going to speak about teleportation. Now this has been a subject which has been bouncing around and been practiced for thousands and thousands of years. Today we're going to discuss it and go a bit more in depth to talk to you about exactly what teleportation is and how you can do it. I'll see you after the intro. So greetings, welcome back. My name is Jay. I'm from Karnak Holistics, where we learn together and we grow together in the sight of God. Now, as I mentioned, we're going to be speaking about teleportation. What is teleportation? Why do we use it? And how can we use it? And who is using it? And what is so specific and what's so important about teleportation? So before I get started, I'd just like to say, could you share, and subscribe? And don't forget to press that little golden bell to get any uploads that I do, any videos that I actually put out there, so you won't miss a trick. So let's just get into this, because this is a fascinating subject I've loved to research and look into, practice, and also kind of like interact with other people who have actually physically done this. So teleportation has been around for hundreds and thousands of years. Now, it's widely used in India. Sai Baba, who was a great prophet, he used it, and there's a story of that he didn't want to go up the mountain or the hill, so what he used to do is teleport himself from the bottom of the hill to the top of the hill. Now I think this is just so awesome, because Sai Baba, and I'll put his picture up here, was for me a great mentor to learn about, and some of my friends, we have great deep discussions about Sai Baba, both of them, the first one and the second one. The second Sai Baba, which I'll put up again here, he obviously knew or met a few of my friends, which I was so sad I couldn't meet. However, I did see him spiritually, and we did converse spiritually, which was one of the most uplifting and emotional times for me along my spiritual journey. So let's just get into this. Let's talk about teleportation. What is teleportation? Teleportation is using this physical body, and using this physical body to move anywhere in the cosmos, basically anywhere on the planet, anywhere in the universe. However, there is a knack to this. It's not just you think of something and you go there. It's simple like that. It's not Hollywood. It's not Beam Me Up Scotty from Star Trek. But the theory is based on that. The theory of Beam Me Up Scotty and this metaphor body being able to move from one location to another, it kind of like really inspired Star Trek to actually use that as a possible thing that we can do. So one thing is about teleportation, it's not astral projection, it's not daydreaming, it's not sleeping, it's not lucid dreaming. It's physically that this body comes from here into your bedroom, or here to your place of work, here to another part of the planet. In order to be able to do teleportation, you must know that you have already done it. You must know that you physically have been able to do this. Let's go back to, let me just talk about what we are. We are matter. This body is matter. We are actual light beings. That light next to me is just a light. We are the same energy that is to us. We appear solid because we are matter. And you've heard this so many times from people saying we are matter, we are just living energies which is inherent this body. So when we die, our spirit goes on, our energy goes on, and our physical body gets put in the ground or burned or whatever. So if you can take that notion If you can take that idea and then you can encapsulate it, and you just know that this is just a part of bouncing light. So let's say you've got a wall, yeah, the wall is clear. So this wall behind me, if you don't put light on it, it will be dark, right? So let's say that we are this energy where we are the spirit, and that light is bouncing off the wall, bouncing off our body to project who we are. Do you understand what I'm saying? So let me explain that again. So we are light, yeah, like light bounces off the wall. So let's say our body is the wall. So when the light bounces off the wall, it projects an outward energy or an outward appearance of who we are. And this is exactly how it works. Now, if you can get that concept and then you can put it into it being solid here, and then we can move it to another location, and it's just a physical thing. I don't think that because we're physical that we can't physically move, because we have to get up out of our chair and we feel the aches and the pains. All these aches and the pains are just up here. We need to get over this whole mind trip that are being programmed into ourselves from our parents, to society, from schools, from teachers, from people around us. We need to break that away and we need to unlearn what we've learned and learn exactly what we were meant to learn, that we shouldn't have to be stuck in this way of being, this aches and pains and death and all the rest of it. We are eternal. Yeah, our spirit goes on to eternally. We are meant to be doing stuff physically on this planet where we don't need to jump on a plane and fly. There should be no plane crashes, be no car crashes, because physically we should be able to move around. I know this is hard concept to get your head around. All I'm saying to you is just research it. And you've heard me say this time and time again, is I only talk about what I know about. You know, I don't talk about stuff I don't know about. So when I'm talking about this, I've researched it, experienced it, seen it, and kind of had evidence that I've seen it. And for the fact is that I know that if you go to India, for example, I'm not saying that they're teleporting all over the place. That's not what I'm doing. If you go to the gurus in India, they are physically, people have witnessed gurus, literally, there is video footage as well, that they've been in one part and then disappeared and appeared in another part of the temple. And if this isn't true, tell me why is the US government, right, in 1994, September 20th, 1994, led a kind of like research into teleportation, remote viewing. Tell me why is the government getting involved in that if there's no physical proof to it? You can say, okay, they're just researching it. Don't be stupid. They don't just throw money at something that's just going to go, oh, let's have a look, see if it's true. They throw some money at it if they know it's true. Think about it. You wouldn't go to a shop and no, for example, if you want to go to a shop to buy paint, you won't go to a sweet shop, would you? Because you know that a sweet shop doesn't sell paint. Unless it does, but you highly unlikely you don't. That's why it's called a sweet shop. So you would go to a paint shop. So this is the whole point why these governments are doing what they're doing. I'm not saying it's wrong, I'm not saying it's right, but they are doing it for military purposes. And there are being incidences, for example, even with me, I've been doing remote viewing, for example, not for government, but I've just been researching it and just experiencing it. And I remember seeing a remote viewer appear somewhere I was, and they looked at me and I looked at them and they were like, oh, and then they went and they just disappeared. Now there's also another story I can tell you about where I was trying to do the same to teleportation, and I'll explain what different types of teleportation there is, because this story relates to that explanations, and I will go back to this story later on. There's been a time where I've been in my bedroom and my ex my kid's mum was in the kitchen, and I wanted to use this ability just to test it out, because I just like to just test it out, see if it's true, if it's not true. And I wanted to focus upon having my keys in my hand, and they were in the front room where the kitchen was. So I'm meditating into meditation and so on and so forth, and then all I remember is her coming in, going to me, "Oh, you're in here." And I was like, "Well, yeah." She goes, "You were just in the other room. How'd you get from the other room into here so quick?" And then I looked in my hands and I had the key in my hand, but I don't remember taking the key. She said I came in, picked up the keys, and she said, "Oh, you going out?" And I was like, "No, I just come to get my keys." And I walked out. That's what she said I did do. I don't remember it, but this, I'll explain that. Just remember this story, and I will go back to this story later on and talk about this a bit more in depth, about what that's called, this type of teleportation is called. Now, there is a metaphysical lecturer called Bernard T. Spelling, who wrote a book called The Life of Teachings of the Masters of the Far East, where it talks about teleportation, and he's physically seen masters in India teleporting all over the place. And I don't want to say like they appear and they go poof and they're over there, but he witnessed this phenomena, and he said that he was so surprised to see it. And he records it in our book, and it is a really good read. I do advise you do try and get hold of it. I think it's on Amazon. So now I just want to quickly just go back to what I mentioned earlier when I said what teleportation isn't, and I want to read out a list because I think this is so important, because people get confused with it, and I've been speaking to a lot of people, and they do get confused with which is which and what's what. So teleportation is not the following. It's not alchemy, ascension, astral projection. It's not also levitation. It's not remote viewing, telepathy, or telekinesis. Now, all these different art forms I'm gonna do videos on anyway, because I'm really into it, because I want to show you guys that what this is about. This is a school of teaching. Karnak is a school of teaching, and I want to show you guys that I'm going to drill down into all of these different art forms, because it is really interesting to find exactly what these stands for. This is what I'm kicking off with teleportation, and it's going to be coinciding along with me doing the Psalm videos as well, so keep an eye out for that. So the other thing is, as I turn my page, what does it look like? What does teleportation look like? And to be blunt, imagine you're in a room with your mates, right? And John's sitting over there in the corner, and he's just dozing off, looking out into nowhere. Now he's focused upon getting his body away from this state he's in, or the room he's in, right? So John's sitting there, and you're all sitting there talking, and then next minute, poof, he disappears, and he appears somewhere else, and he's just gone. And then you guy goes, "What the?" And then next minute he reappears again. Now you all think you have a glitch in time, right? Thinking you're just imagining it, but he's actually has left and come back again. So he may have disappeared, gone into the other room, come back again. It sounds a bit scary and weird, but that's what it exactly is. Now, it's interesting because there's been so many hints in cartoons even about teleportation. For example, I was watching today The Sword in the Stone. Merlin, when he's arguing, I think, with one of the lords, and he just goes, "Right, I'm off." And then he just disappears. He goes, "I'm not here, but I'm still here." So he disappears into another realm, but he's still here. Now that's going, I don't know when it was created, The Sword in the Stone, but I'm thinking 1960s, 1930s, I don't know. But to me, it was even talking about it back then. So if you don't believe me, have a look, check it out, because it is so subtle, but it's so blatant. It's literally when Merlin meets Arthur and they're in the castle, he does it twice. The first time he's arguing with this guy, and he goes, "I want you to go," and then he just disappears, and he says, "I'm here, but I'm not here." Second time is when he's fighting, and he's doing a wizard duel with Madam Mim, and then he disappears again, and he goes poof and disappears, and then appears in the brain or inside the body of Madam Mim, and then causes himself to be a disease. Now that is plausible. Now that's interesting. Keep hold of that, because that is another form of level that they're tapping into, but I'm not going to go into that right now because it's a bit too deep about it, because I just want to glaze and talk about obviously teleportation. But bear in mind, if you want to have a look at it, check it out, because it is really, really phenomenal how they are subtly dropping stuff into cartoons even back then. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to look at why do it. Why do teleportation? There's many reasons. Some are selfish, some are not. Some are for research, some are just want to get closer to their own inner self, and they want to be able to experience their own inner journey, and that's all about research and getting closer to God and closer to the living energy or the universe or chi, whatever you want to call it. Some do it because they want to blatantly sometimes disappear in somebody's house. Trust me, that's happening, and you can block it as well. Yeah, so don't think that they can just do whatever they want and just turn up. There is laws against it, not physical laws, but laws, not human laws, but spiritual laws that can stop people like that from doing stuff like this, going against your free will. So don't worry too much. And then, like, when God's prosecutors in heaven, I see people do it time and time again. So it's like these people try to get away with it, but they do eventually get caught, and it is noted. You can't escape it. Some of the other things they do it in order to seek out information. So they may seek out information from the past, present, and future. One thing I didn't kind of cover and say to you guys is that it's not just in this time frame that you can teleport, by the way. You can teleport back in time and forward in time. I know you're probably thinking, what the hell? So you can go back to the time of Jesus, you can go back to the time of Noah, you can go back to any time, right? Because you need to let go of this rubbish you've been fed by our parents, by our society, our schools, that we can't do this stuff because we've been doing this for thousands of years. How do you think the Egyptians have achieved the things they've done? I've kind of teleported, but not my body. I've used my spirit to go back to then, and I've seen certain things which I'm not gonna say. And whether you believe it or not, can give a rat's ass about what people believe, what I see or not. I don't care, because I know I've seen what I've seen. But I do want you to know that you're not limited to what you've been taught today. Okay, you're not being limited. The only thing that's is limited in you, or limiting you, I should say, is your own mind. And remember, a free mind or a powerful mind free mind and an educated mind is a powerful mind. That's what I wanted to say. So a free mind and an educated mind is a powerful mind. So when people say, "Oh, Matt, Jay, you're so powerful," and I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm just educated. I'm spiritually educated. I'm constantly reinventing myself. I'm constantly wanting to get closer." Even today, I had a friend with me, and we were doing a lot of spiritual alignment, spiritual developing. Tomorrow, I'm doing a teaching around spiritual development and connection with a group at the temple. But today, I was doing a lot of connection with taking the person to the astral plane, or taking the person to the realms, to the royal courts, and so on, and vice versa. And all this, you're probably thinking, what? It is true. Please don't limit yourself to just what you have. For example, I said this the other day, and I said this to someone that goes, it's not just about when you're having breakfast, you have to have eggs, bacon, chips, and beans, right? You can have black pudding, you can have fried toast, you can have toast, normal toast, you can have brown toast, There is limited. The only thing which people turn around and say to you, for example, using this fried breakfast or this English breakfast, because I like to use it because what everyone kind of understands, is what people tell you, their perception of what an English breakfast is. Because a lot of people's idea about an English breakfast would be beans, sausages, bacon, tomatoes, egg, and not even chips, right? But that would be about it, and probably toast. But my perception of what it is quite different. So it's about where you've been raised and what you've been taught. And a lot of the Sikh people know this stuff, right? They know this stuff, yeah. And I know a lot of Sikh people who we have amazing discussions, because actually, if I remember correctly, and I'm sure my friend who's probably going to watch this is going to turn around and tell me it was wrong what I'm about to say, is Sikh means to seek knowledge. That's what it means to be a Sikh, is to seek knowledge, and it is to learn about all faiths. And I love talking to Sikh people because, or Sikh people in the Sikh faith, which is not Sikh people, but people in the Sikh faith, because there's a different, and that's what Sai Baba was, by the way, who I mentioned earlier, because it's all about, which I've learned again today, which I forgot. My friend said that Sai Baba brought all faiths together, and he incarnated himself and used and spoke of Jesus, Moses, Muhammad, all these people together under one banner, because it's a universal law. There's we are one people, you know, and that's what Sai Baba did do. And I sense his energy quite strongly, especially around me, especially today when we were doing some work, and it was really powerful. So teleportation is a school of thought and knowledge, which is that we can all unlock and do, and we can move that forward and use our own ability. And it's just being in a room, as long as you can see it, which I'm going to talk about this a bit later because I don't want to go into it too much now, but I just want to quickly say it's about you visualizing where you want to be at the end of the day, and then actually believing in it and doing mind over matter. So I'll come back to that shortly. So I'm going to talk about mind over matter. So this is what I've mentioned, I'm going to come on to it. This is what I'm going to talk about now, is about mind over matter. Now, there is no difference than you going, I've got the cold, right? I've got the cold, and I've got the sniffles, or I've got a headache, and then you instinctively know that the cold or the headache is not going to kill you, right? Because why? Because you've been told it's not going to. But if you do get really sick because of it, you know it's something else that is causing it, or it's a trigger for something else. But we instinctively know, oh, it's just a headache, it's just a cold, it's all right, it'll pass. So that's what we've been told. And it's the same now with teleportation. It's you that is given your limited beliefs that why you can't do it, why you can't get well, why you can't heal yourself, why you can't move yourself from here to there, why you can't invoke certain people, why you can't stay in contact with loved ones that have moved on. It's you, it's your mind. I know it's hard to get your head around, but it is so important. It is so important. And you know, I spent my life living in this shell because I was in fear what other people thought of me and who I was and what I was. Now I'm going back to what I'm going to say. You probably hear me say I don't give a rat's ass, and I don't care, because at the end of the day, it's like, I'm not here for these people. I'm here to do a job. I'm here to help humanity. Yeah, I'm here to guide and kind of like be a beacon. Not me be a beacon, because I'm not pure. You know, I'm a human being. I'm a spirit. God sent me down as a spirit, but I'm not saying I'm anything divine, but I am saying that we all are divine. Yeah, we all are divine. We all are unique, because we are no two the same, and we all have abilities, and we all have our gifts and our power that is different than everybody else. Like, you're probably better than me at doing something else. Like you may be better at mathematician, better at English, you may be better at talking, you may be better at working stuff out, organization, you know, but I may be able to wipe the floor with you with like talking, or, you know, whatever, sports or whatever. It depends on you and what it is. And I remember my mum always used to say to me, you're only as good as what you believe you are good as. And that's so true. And like the world saying, that world famous saying, whatever, anything the mind can perceive, it can achieve. And it's true. Whatever the mind can perceive, it can achieve. But we don't achieve it, and we don't perceive it because we have limited beliefs and limited thoughts. So it's down to us to untangle those webs that we've been put into, kind of like a prison. And once we untangle those, as we slowly untangle it, you watch things start changing. It could be a bit scary because this is out of your comfort zone, but trust me, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful when you learn about what you really look like in the mirror. Because when you look in the mirror, that's not really you. I know it's hard to explain. It's a version of what people are telling you look like. It's really hard to explain this, but when you start going down the spiritual path and you look in the mirror again, and you physically look in the mirror, the same mirror you look at every day, you notice there's something different about you. And I can guarantee you, right, that when you're going down a spiritual path and then you see the same person, say you're going to work and you're on the same bus route, or you're driving to the same petrol station, whatever, someone goes, there's something different about you. Like, there is nothing different about you. The only thing that's different about you is that you just are broken up. You know, it's really amazing. The amount of times I've been somewhere, or I've gone into work, or I used to go on a bus journey, and this goes to me, have you got a new haircut? Like, my head's bald. And have you, like, new glasses? Have you, like, got your eyebrows threaded? It's all these random things. It's a slight, and the word, it's in the words. Have you got this done? You know, and the thing they say to you is slightly touched, not like, did you get a new head? But it's slightly different. So as you start to get a mind of a matter, things start changing with you. You start looking differently. You start becoming the true you. The next part I want to talk about is, how do you know if you have teleported? Evidence. Basically, what I told you about the keys, people seeing you, and how did you get from there to here? The other saying is, when you're walking, say you're walking across a beach, or you're walking down a street, and then you go into a zone, you just zone out, yeah? And then next minute you realize you're halfway up the beach or halfway up the road, and you're going, how the hell did you get here? Do you think you've walked quicker? Do you think you've just zoned out? No, you've actually moved your body that further down the line. I know it's really hard to really explain. That's probably what's been happening. And again, unless you are with someone, but you wouldn't necessarily zone out, would you? Because unless you're there that boring, you want to talk to him. But as you're walking, and then you zone out for a while. And I've done it, and I've walked, and then I've arrived, because I'm here already. And then I look back, and I don't remember seeing the person past me, that when I look back, they were walking, like when I see them, they would walk past me. I don't remember seeing them. And I know I was looking forward, and I know I was aware, but I just zoned out. And I know my brother's done it, because we had a discussion before, and I know he's done it. And I know a couple other people have done it. So you probably would have thought, oh, well, it's just me just daydreaming. Believe what you want. That's what they're telling you to believe, that you're just daydreaming, but hey, that's down to you. But yeah, that's probably what's happening. I'm not saying all the time that's what happens, but it's just weird that this stuff happens, and that, you know, you just read from my notes here, because I'm going to cover this, and this is important. What I mentioned earlier about the types of different teleportations. So there's 3 types been identified. One spontaneous, one directive teleportation, and the other is directive consciousness teleportation. So I'm going to explain them all now and see if you can identify any of them that you may have experienced. So the first one is spontaneous. Again, you know, when I said about walking down the street, and then you just saying, where the hell, well, I just mentioned a minute ago, you just walk down the street or down a beach, and then you just arrived at your destination. That's spontaneous teleportation. Directive teleportation is when you go to sleep, like I did, and that's what I wanted to tell you. I wanted to tell you about this story, what I did with my ex, and I was here, and that I went to sleep and I intentionally wanted to go somewhere, but I wanted to just go and grab my keys and come back. So that's directive teleportation. Yeah. So if you're going to meditate and go somewhere, that's directive teleportation. The other one is direct consciousness teleportation, and that is when you are somewhere that you've been before, but you visualize that you've been there. So you don't physically go there, but your body, your spirit does. And this is really cool because I've done this as well. Your spirit, your body is here, right? But let's say you go to a market or you go to your friend's work, and you go somewhere where you're recognized and they can see you, they know you, but you're indoors, and you teleport your spirit there and then make that solid so they see the solid form of you. Do you understand? So if I'm here and I want to go to where my friend is and say, I know she's in a market somewhere and I want to find her, I can appear there and then I can walk past her and she may go, Jay, and I'll acknowledge her, and then I can just go, I've got to go, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm not really there. It's actually my spirit. My physical body's not really there, but my spirit is there. So that is directive consciousness teleportation, and that's what a lot more people do. That's what remote viewing comes under, by the way, is where they physically send their spirit to this location. Remember I mentioned earlier I was somewhere and this person turned up and they were there and they were like shocked that I was there, because I can't remember what I was doing, but I was doing something for some one or another, but they were shocked that I was there. So yeah, that is teleportation basically. I hope it's helped. I find it really fascinating, really interested. If you are interested, get a book. There's a book called what's it called? Teleportation. It's the practical guide of metaphysical traveler, and it's by Gwen Turtledale and Jessica Stern. So, and it's this book, by the way. It is really good, and it's where I got some of my info, and again, obviously I've done some research as well into it. So I hope it's helped, and again, look after yourself, stay safe, and look after others, but most of all, keep an eye and keep developing on you. Namaste, and God bless.